Hello and welcome to Talkin' Baseball. Did we have our first sweep week of the year? A lot of teams went to work. And Trev, the standings, we're seeing a little bit of separation. It's early. It's early. Let's talk ball. Oh. It's a right field. Flip it.
Foul ball.
Foul tip. It's a foul tip. Hello and welcome to Talkin' Baseball, presented to you by SeatGeek. My name's Jake Storielli. That is Trevor Plouffe. That is Big Baby David Mendelson. And we want to thank our presenting sponsor, SeatGeek. Thank you to SeatGeek for being with us. Go see some of the beautiful baseball being played around this great nation. And new special offer, Talkin' 10. Gets you 10% off. So if you've already used one of SeatGeek's awesome promos, you're back, because sometimes they're first-time users. No, this is just on the table. Code TALKIN10. Save yourself 10% off your next order. That goes through April. So if you're going to see if Trev's Twins can right the ship, if you're going to see if our Yanks can keep it going, if you want to see what the heck's going out in Cleveland or Houston, different ends of the spectrum, go check it out with SeatGeek. Trevor, how are you, my good man?
Jacob and Biebers, it's great to see you on this Monday morning. I'm doing fine. Had a fun weekend in Vegas. Got home yesterday to watch Teddy play 2 games. The SoCal Padres went 1-1.
Okay.
I love watching him play and the youth baseball world. These guys, they just are having fun out there, and it takes me back a little bit, man. So, I'm trying to watch as much Major League Baseball as I can, but I'm falling in with the youth game, man. It's awesome.
You?
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Jake, how are you doing though? You
good.
Look great. I told you that before the show. The black shirt, which we'll talk about later, but your skin looks good. Eyes are popping.
I'm having a decent hair week. I think we're at a good level right now. Yesterday was a pretty special hair day for me. Those are I'd say twice a year. It just kind of gets fluffy and nice, and everyone's like, Jake, do that. Today's just okay, but we'll take okay. And yeah, man, it's like a sport. I'm calling it the sports Equinox. Basketball and NHL playoffs, man. Those are always a good flip. Baseball is fully into it. NFL drafts this week.
Big boxing match this.
I kind of got into that. How about Garcia won some people some money, plus 550? Okay. Now you're speaking my language. So yeah, man, I'm a sports junkie, and even in between all that, went to a Broadway show this weekend, and Juliet. It was really good. So I'm just a man of class, dude. I will say, life. You know what? I'll get a quick laugh out of everyone. We go to this Broadway show on 420. Do take a nibble before I go in there. Have a couple glasses of red wine, because again, I'm a worldly fellow. And the lead, who played Juliet, she crushed her performance. I got a little teary-eyed for her. I was proud of her. So Jess turned to me, and yeah, I eyes are just full bloodshot red from crying and gummies and wine as I'm enjoying the performance on Broadway. So a little window into my world.
It's either super hot or just a huge turnoff. I'm not sure yet.
I think with how red my eyes got, I think it's turnoff. But yeah, I'm an emotional guy, Trev, and I love ball. So let's talk some ball. I might it's a huge interleague, so I might cram together some AL and NL, and we'll hit it hard. Vegas, baby. Trev, speaking of hitting it hard, we are starting off 2 young, fun teams. You mentioned baseball is supposed to be fun, and the youths bring that out. How about the Orioles and the Kansas City Royals? The Royals trying to build on their hot start and take on one of the powerhouses in the American League. They take Game 1. They put up a 9 spot on the board. MJ Melendez and Vinny Pasquantino, they both homer. But it's birds the rest of the way. How about a pitching matchup on day 2? Burns and Reagans. What's this, a 1-0? 9-7. The Orioles, Jordan Westberg, Ryan Mountcastle, Anthony Santander. And man, it just comes from everyone on this Orioles team. Westberg, Cowser, and Mountcastle again in the final game with Cole, Swerve, and Irvin. 6.2 shut. That's the thing, man. These Orioles have been pitching a ton. And so when they get a 7-run second inning on that second day, that can be the difference. Orioles take 2 out of 3. Yanks take 2 out of 3 from the Rays. Yankees sneak out a win in that first game, if we're being honest. A 5-run inning. They get a ball, it hits a rock, bounces over Yandy Diaz that allows Juan Soto to do Juan Soto things. They get shut down in the second game. 2-0 final. That on the rubber match, they win 5-4. Big Verdugo day at the office. Luis Hillman, pretty gross. It's a funky Rays team. It always is. Their bullpen's getting rot. That's the only part that's weird. Guardians sweep the A's, and that's obvious. The A's are still the A's, and the Guardians have your best record in the American League. Uh-oh. Chris Rose? Gonna pop out another baby? Empty nester? Tristan McKenzie, Logan Allen, and It's a Bibe get it done on the bump. While they get some offensive performances. Estevan Florial off the scrap heap. And Josh Naylor has been awesome, and he's been good against lefties, too. He's really becoming a complete player. Trev, what is going on Lake Minnetonka? The Twins, they dropped 2 out of 3 to the Tigers. Your guy Jack Flaherty with a nice start. They end up winning the bread games. The Nightmare Bailey Ober gets it done with Austin Martin and Byron Buxton in that middle game. But Casey Mize, how's your 1-1 6-shut piece? Buddy Kennedy, I feel like he always has a big game. I need to look at his baseball reference. What's all that about? Tigers, they take 2 out of 3. In the National League, Snakes in San Fran, they hate being called that, but I do it. San Francisco, they split 4 games. They go every other throughout. Logan Webb, 7 shutout. Gross. Jordan Montgomery makes his debut, and they put up 17. Giants bounce back, and then Snakes back and forth. We'll talk about that series a little bit. Some controversy, foul tips, as I joked about. Marlins, Cubs, they do the same thing. Okay. A little back and forth 4-gamer. Cubbies go 1-3. Marlins go 2-4. We get some nice offensive. Jameson Taillon came back for the Cubs. That was big. Brian De La Cruz and Jesus Sanchez. He goes deep fly to center in that final game. While if it's a show today, it feels like the Cubs win. Michael Busch with 2 ribbies. We'll get into that one. The New York Metropolitans take 2 out of 3 from the Dodgers. They are hot. 12-4 after an 0-5 start. Manaea gets it done, and they knock around Yamamoto a little bit. Frankie Lindor with the big game. Starling Marte was all over this series. Good to see that for them. Final game, 10-0 Dodgers. Glass now dropped it on them. Shohei, a historic homer. We'll talk about that. And then your final series, the Milwaukee Brewers sweep the Cardinals. Oh no, that first game goes to extras. They try to outlast Peralta. They can't get it done, and then Chiriot goes off. Bryce Terang keeps it up for the Brew Crew. They win on the final game. Colin Rea outpitches Sonny Gray. The Brewers stay hot. Cardinals, first kind of yellow flag of the season, and that's what happened in the National League. Yeah. I'll snap. I'll snap for myself.
AL-NL combo to start your Monday morning. Okay.
Whoops.
Now what am I supposed to do, Poppy? Now I'm in a pickle here.
Give us, you know what, Trev? Do whatever you want. If you want to do AL, if you want to run the whole thing, give me some standings.
I'm gonna go back and forth, okay?
Ooh.
How about the East?
Okay, I
The
love
S,
it.
the plural.
I love it. This is how everyone
East to
enjoys
West.
ball.
Yeah, East Coast ball. That's all we care about on this show. We'll start in the AL because that's what we do on Mondays. The Yanks, your Yanks at 15-7. Baltimore right behind them at 14-7. Those Red Sox can twirl it. Cutter Crawford, you are disgusting. 13-10. Toronto 12-10, and the Rays at 12-11. So everybody over 500 in the AL East.
Oh!
In the NL East, Not everyone is over 500, but the Braves are 14-6 because obviously the Philadelphia Phillies looking. I really like the City Connects for them. Just gonna throw that out there right now. Alec Boehm, I think he could be a model. He's so tall. 14-8 for them. The Mets, like we mentioned, turned it around after 0-5. They're sitting at 12-9. Washington, also surprising a lot of people. Might be talking more about them later. 10-11, and then those Marlins at the bottom at 6-17. In the Centrals, Cleveland 16-6, best run differential in baseball. Kansas City Royals 13-9, the Detroit Tigers at 12-10, and then bringing up the bottom, Minnesota at 7-13, and the White Sox at 3-18. It's going to be a long summer in Chicago. In the NL Central, Milwaukee, just like everyone thought this year, going to be in front, 14-6. The Cubs 13-9, Cincinnati 12-9, Pittsburgh 11-11, and St. Louis, who I picked to win the division this year, they're sitting at 9-13. And then all the way out west, the wild, wild west, if you will, the Texas Rangers in the AL are on top at 12-11. Seattle Mariners right behind them at 11-11. The Angels falling back a little bit at 9-13. Oakland 8-14, and then the Houston Astros are sitting at 7-16. We are almost a month through the season, people, and they're in last place. The Dodgers in the NL West, only 13-11. They've been slipping a little bit, those Dodgers, but Andy Pages is here to save the day. The San Diego Padres sitting at 12-12. The Arizona Diamondbacks, Jake Snakes, Dalton Snakes, really, if I'm being honest, 11-12. The San Francisco Giants 10-13, and then the Rockies sitting at 5-17, and those are the standings.
Trev, fantastic stuff. Before we get into it, I do want to tell the people about Cuts. There's a reason Trev's been complimenting how good I'm looking. It's because I'm wearing a Cuts t-shirt. Most t-shirts, they can't pull double duty, and that's what I'm wearing this at work. You could wear this at date night. I can't wait to show you where Trevor Plouffe was wearing his Cuts. And you might be familiar with their shirts. Their shirts have been around a little bit. It's why I'm looking like a handsome paisan at the club right now. They sent us some pants. Oh, boy, and there it is. Trevor Plouffe.
I had it tucked in. If you see that, I dressed mine up a little bit.
Trevor Plouffe is in Vegas with the world champion Rams and everyone's beautiful wives, and he's wearing his Cut shirt. So
yes,
if that's not enough for you, I just don't know at this point, because we're also offering you a 20% discount off your entire order when you use code TALKIN at checkout. So cutsclothing.com, promo code TALKIN, supports our show, gets you looking good, save 20%. There's a link in the description. Thank you to Cuts. Trev, I think we start out at the top. The Orioles in Kansas City. I said this about, what was it, Arizona and Chicago a few weeks back. This would be a fun little playoff tester. The Royals, they're going to have to pull their weight a little more this season to be a part of that. But like we've talked about, two really young teams, two teams feeling the fun part of baseball when you're winning. I think the Royals took this on as a test with the Orioles coming to town, and, we're the Royals here. They get that first game, but then they kind of get Orioled the rest of the way, where they saw both sides. They saw the Orioles put up a 7-run second inning in that second game, and then the Royals get shut out for the first time this season in the final game. And that's what the Orioles can do to you.
They can beat you in a variety of different ways. Corbin Burns' line, second game doesn't look as good as it should have. He's 5 2/3. He's one strike away from going a full 6, no earned runs. 1-2 on Sal Perez, and Sal Perez hits a homer because that's what he does.
Big Sal.
So, a nice start there. Gets spoiled a little bit at the end, but, I'm going to talk about a lot of these guys later. The offense can come at you in just so many different ways. And Rosie posed this question to me on Baseball Today. Is this the most complete lineup in the AL, 1 through 9? And they're up there. I mean, you could talk about, you could say in the big leagues. I mean, you could talk about, the Rangers and what they're able to do. You can talk about the Braves and what they're able to do. Go ahead and look up and down this lineup. I mean, it's there's not a time to really take a breath, if you will. I know Jackson Holliday hasn't been, what he's wanted to be. He struck out a lot. So maybe when you get to him, you can count on a K, but that's not going to last for very long. And when he starts going, they almost have too many good players. I don't know what they're going to. I'm serious. Like their position player depth is so good and guys are performing so well. It's like you almost have to platoon some guys that you don't want to. And what does that mean for them at the deadline? I don't know. But this team, like I said, they just Cole Reagans and Seth Lugo have been having great starts to the year. And look at the lines. Cole Reagans goes 1 2/3, gives up the 7 earned runs. Seth Lugo, I believe, gave up his first homer of the year against them. Like they are, again, just righty, lefty, doesn't matter what it is. They are able, and they're pounding the ball, they're getting on base, which hasn't necessarily been their calling card. They're more of a slug team. But some of these guys have been getting on base at a really nice clip, and it's just been fun to watch, man. And I do agree, like this could be a very fun upstart type of playoff series.
I mean, I've got a fun statement. The Orioles are first in home runs.
Yes, they are.
And who on their team is a home run hitter? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Kind of
like
everybody now.
Right. It's either it's like everybody or nobody.
Yeah.
Because there's not a lot of guys you look at and say, ooh, 40. Are they going to get 40 this year? Like Santander's got a couple big years, but I don't know. I mean, hey, maybe Gunner's got another level to him.
They're all very young, Jake.
Right.
Like they haven't even gotten to the point where we can say, okay, that
Yeah,
power
we
will
don't
come
know.
last.
Yeah.
Like you get to the big leagues, you got to learn how to hit, use the other field, other way, excuse me, and then you learn how to really truly hit for power in the big leagues. It's actually a really scary thought for the AL in general to say these guys. I mean, they're all like pre-arb guys. We got to figure out all that as well, the money side of this thing, but they're set up for a long time. Right now, they're third in all of baseball in OPS, only behind the Braves and the Brewers, and they're right on the Brewers' heels. So this is again a team that you mentioned. The starters have been really good. Bullpen's been decent. They've given up some runs as of recent, but when you can score like they score, they're a tough series, and I believe they still have the streak of since Adley Rutschman has been called up, they haven't lost or been swept in a series.
No need.
It's like 90-something series in a row.
It's pretty nuts. And hey, as we're giving credit to them, Royals at one point they won 9 straight home games. So they were feeling pretty juicy. And you mentioned the bullpen without a big 8th inning, Danny Colomb, your guy, former Twins great, punches Salvi and Nelson Velasquez in the 8th. Otherwise, we'd be sitting here being like, we got to take these Royals seriously. They just took 2 out of 3. So I think that's as I look at the Orioles and their stat page, again, their pitching, it never seems to wow, but they're 6th in starting pitching ERA. Cole Irvin shuts them down. They do it on a lot of fronts. Where are they going next? They've got the Angels and then Oakland coming up. So I think Baltimore's about to get it fully underway. And let's see, the Royals, they host Toronto. That'll be a fun series before they've got a little road trip coming up. So
I don't think anybody's given anything to Sal Perez later in the show, but I think we need to give him some snaps for the start of the season that he's had. Hitting 333, 395 on base, 590 slug. Seems like he's 40 years old. He's only 33.
yeah,
He's been doing this for a long time, man. 252 career homers from the catcher spot is nothing to sneeze at. And I've seen this, been a part of this one. He backpicked Gunnar Henderson. And he loves that throw to third base, man. He actually was down on one knee, which is, I believe it was second and third, one out. Gunner's like, I'm going to get a little head start here, try to make sure I can get home. And Sal's on one knee and just pops and freaking absolutely hammers one down there and throws out Gunner. So he can still throw the ball. Crazy start to the season offensively. I like the Royals, man. I'm scared of them. My Twins, which I don't even know if we're going to talk about them too much. There's not much to say. they are going to have a hard time coming back and winning this AL Central, man. Because some of these teams, the Guardians, which I'm sure we'll get to soon, them and the Royals look like they're going to be there.
Well, some more snaps for Salvi. I mean, the way he's playing and, Baseball Reference, and if you want to debate in the comments, but is he, Hall of Fame type trajectory? I mean, with that kind of home runs from the catcher and, 8 All-Star games and stuff, like some of those numbers are getting...
Okay, yeah, I never
right?
even thought of that, Poppy. I don't know.
And
People are going to be mad.
The fact he is 33 is insane. I mean, if you put me and Salvador Perez next to each other in a picture, you'd say one's a boy and one's a man. I'm older than Salvi. That blows my mind. And the other snaps to another kind of Hall of Famer in this series.
Oh, he's a Hall of Famer.
Dirty Craig Kimbrell.
Yeah.
Ties Billy Wagner, who just got in the Hall of Fame. Or is he on deck for next year? 422 saves, 7th all time. And a reminder on Craig Kimbrell, who he's 35 and he's closing for these Orioles right now. Like he's going to be.
Years ago, I thought he was done.
Where he's going to be in some record books is going to be nutty. And if you're looking for the Orioles vibe tribes, Colton Cowser caught the final out, threw it into the stands, threw it actually into the drink, the fountain.
Yeah.
So it couldn't be authenticized. That's not the word.
Authenticated.
Authenticated even.
I thought authenticized.
Authenticized.
I like that.
And if you're wondering how the vibes are, Colton Cowser told the reporters who asked him, "Hey, did you throw it into the fountain?" He goes, "I just yeeted it behind me. I didn't think much." So that's just, these are kids. These are kids who are
drinking out of a freaking octopus bong, calling it a hydration station.
That's just happening.
It is. In the dugout.
Trev, let's actually keep it a little central focus for a minute, because Guardians snaps for you while we're giving out snaps. They sweep Oakland. They take care of their business there. They blow open that final game late. Naylor gets McFarland, turns on a double down the line. Everyone's coming home. Again, this currently is, and we've seen this as Talkin' Baseball has lived. Right now, this is good team, bad team. Cleveland has the best record in the American League, and Oakland's Oakland. So that's where I don't know. I don't have too many thoughts to add on it, but if you're looking to get your Cleveland thoughts out, now's the time.
I like seeing Sticks have a better outing. He's just walked the ballpark, to start the season. He goes 5 innings here. He gets the 6 Ks. I don't believe he's been striking out anybody either. Still has 3 walks in the 5 innings, which is not great for him, but I think the Ks are nice to see. And, the 5 innings pitch, 1 earned run's a nice stepping stone to getting him back where he needs to be for the season, but they haven't really even needed him because the offense has been really good too. I'm going to talk about Stephen Kwan a little bit later, but Naylor, is he just turning into obviously a fan favorite there in Cleveland, but is he turning into like almost a must-watch AB right now with his antics and how hard he hits the ball and just the way he plays? I think so, Jake. I think that's what they're kind of missing in Cleveland, and maybe they don't even want it. Like, who's the star there in Cleveland? Like, I know you're going to say Jose Ramirez, obviously, but like he's kind of like an understated star. I like the idea of Josh Naylor just being out there and being your show pony a little bit. The guy that's out there, top step, kind of creating that team energy for you, because you do need that through 162. And you can only do that, Jake, if you're raking right now. And he's had a fantastic start to the season. 325, 393, 623 for the 1 dot for Josh Naylor. And that's just a lot of fun to see. He's a big boy having fun out there. I know you can relate to that.
I can relate to that. Josh Naylor, 2022 through now, 824 OPS, a 132 OPS plus. He's 26 years old. Like, he got called up really young. It kind of didn't fully click. And the thing that we kind of thought was going to become Josh Naylor, like, okay, well, he's probably he hits right. He's pretty good. He's probably a platoon guy. He is mauling lefties this year. 400 batting average. So I don't know, going through the last few years, like, with Jock Peterson, we saw him, he kind of became a firm platoon guy. The lefty opportunities fizzled out. good on Josh Naylor for when he's gotten those opportunities, which again, getting opportunities at the major league level is really hard to come by. He's now attacked that. He might have made a weakness a strength. And if lefties can't get him out, he is a problem. I will need to take Cleveland a little more seriously offensively. I'm going to need to see one of these Will Brennan, Tyler Freeman kind of become a staple. And they've been playing good ball lately, so maybe that's coming.
It's next man up kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, the seasons on a whole might not look great, but they've had big games that help them win games. They kind of can do it, all different ways. Cleveland can, and they still haven't had Gavin Williams. They've lost Bieber after that great start to the season that he's had. Steven Vogt credit to is that what we're doing here? I want to give him credit, but I'm also anti-manager, so it's tough for me right now. I'm gonna pickle again. Just a couple pickles today for me.
Hey, we
got the boys fired up at least. Look, man, if you can get out to a start like this and survive, an injury to your star, your ace pitcher, there's something going on in the clubhouse, which is really nice to see. Can they keep up that winning percentage all year long? Probably not, but they're definitely going to be in the running here the entire year.
Well, Trev,
energy-filled baseball. I like it, man.
Let's talk about that a little more because the Guardians are full-blown hot start, fully out of the gate, 16-6. We saw the Rays last year, little different, 22-5 was looking up their hot start the other day. But Trev, I dove into it. Me and BBD dove into it on Wake and Jake this morning. I wanted to look at, because we can't make player conclusions yet. We're not a month into the season. How many times have you seen good players, they have a bad month and then they have a great season, or vice versa? You can have an awesome April and then taper off the rest of the year. So to draw conclusions on players is really tough right now. We can start drawing conclusions on teams. I looked at the last couple years' standings. No team has really dug themselves a hole in April and made the dance. Like the only example over the past 2 years of a team that dug a hole and made it to the playoffs was Cleveland in 22. But it was about this time they kicked into gear, and they won what was a weak Central. It caused a lot of talking baseball debates. And they got it going quick. I think they were 7-12, and then they got to 15-14. So it's kind of go time, and I bring this up with your Twins and Tigers. The Twins have full-blown dug a hole, Trev, and, it's got to start happening. Otherwise, Cardinals last year,
I don't know what it will take to turn the Twins around. The pitching depth has been tested already. Varland has not had a great start to the year. Paddock has not had a great start to the year. So there's been that, but the main thing is the offense. I've said it, I don't know, the last 3 episodes. Yeah. Not hitting in runners in scoring position, not hitting in general. Even in this series, you're looking at 9 runs in 3 games. 3 runs a game is just not going to get it done. I don't know where the help is going to come from offensively. Now I know Correa has been out. You're still waiting on Royce Lewis, but this quad thing it was a big injury to him. So now it's okay, when he comes back, how are they going to treat him? Is he just going to be full at third base every single day? Because that's what they need. They need these guys to be in the lineup playing every day. And now it's you might have to have some kitty gloves with a guy like Royce. But, Kepler's coming back. Maybe that's going to help them out offensively. But injuries and poor performances they've crushed the Twins in the early going. A couple guys, Julian's at-bats have looked okay, but not a great start to the year for him. Matt Wallner, who had a very promising year last year, he's already been sent down, been optioned down to the minor leagues because he was striking out a ton. It's the depth has not been there. They did not do much to add this offseason. We got Carlos Santana. I was clamoring for a Rhys Hoskins.
Yeah.
In Minnesota. I said that is the perfect fit. Put this guy at first base, let him go. Santana has been very, serviceable to say the least the last couple of years. It actually surprised me when I looked at what he's been able to do, especially defensively too. But this hasn't worked out necessarily either. It's been a pretty rough showing to start there. But yeah, credit to the Tigers for coming in, doing what they needed to do. I know Flaherty's getting a little chippy on the mound. Some, not so great defense behind him. But they take 2 out of 3. Kerry Carpenter. I know I've done my Jesus was a Carpenter and how good was Jesus really? We don't really know. Could have been just an okay Carpenter.
You'd have done this.
Yeah. He's like a G, huh?
Okay.
Yeah, like kind of
Okay.
like swag man. I didn't know that.
Jesus or Carey?
Carey. I don't know how much swag Jesus had. That's debatable. We don't know. Did he use those powers to impress people from time to time? Yes, he did.
Yeah, I mean,
Yes, he did.
I think his swag plays now. I don't know if in his time did that count as swagger.
Interesting.
Sound off in the comments. Trev, for your Twins, the good news is, well, actually, I hope it's good news. Let's check in. I think we'll have a Friday episode, May the 3rd. The next 10 games for Minnesota, 7 are the White Sox. The other 3 are the Angels.
And I will be there calling the games.
In a very genuine statement, Trev, this is like do or die. The White Sox are awful, 3-18. If you don't come out of this stretch with 6, 7, 8 wins, the season's kind of like actually out.
What would that put them? Okay, right now they're sitting at 7-13.
7-13.
So you get back to 14 and
Get back
17.
above 500. 500.
I mean,
They gotta go.
You gotta
go.
You gotta go. Let's see. Do I have any other Tiger commentary? Hey, number 1 bullpen, ERA, and WHIP in Detroit.
They're nasty.
That helps.
They're nasty.
That helps. I always love a team with that formula because, like, we always reference that Royals team, but man, it can end a game, and more so, you just feel it.
Yeah, it's a momentum. If you have a bullpen that's getting the job done for you, it's just a momentum keeper, if you will.
The viewing experience when you have a bullpen you just trust. So nice.
Yeah.
So nice.
Our Yanks kind of.
First time in a while, Yanks don't fully have that.
That's our current first world problem in Yankee land. Let's see. NL, Trev. God, the Mets are still a topic, right? Like they're full blown hot. They're 12-4. The boys are having fun, and they just did against the Dodgers. I said survive this West Coast trip, and I'll take you guys kind of fully seriously. I mean, they've essentially almost checked the box for me, and they do it in impressive style. I mean, they hang a 9 spot in that first game, and my guy Budo, I love him.
Yes.
It's a survival start, but it allows the Mets to do enough offensively that they win this series. They get killed in the last game, but I don't think they care. The Mets are hot.
Mets are hot. And, there's a couple different reasons for it. You mentioned the Yankees bullpen not being there. The Mets bullpen has been great. You get Edwin Diaz back, obviously. That's massive for them. But then diamond in the rough, or I don't know what you want to call my guy Red Garrett. Just kidding. Reed Garrett has been absolutely filthy.
Yeah.
For the Mets. So that's massive for them. A guy like DJ Stewart, by the way, wasn't he an Orioles draft pick? More on that later. I believe Bieber's fact-checked me there.
So.
He's had a great start to the season. I think one of the biggest differences for the Mets is Starling Marte looks like healthy. I know he's been dealing with some groin stuff last couple years. He's running the bases, swinging the bat, doing everything he needs to do. And then this series, you get a little Frankie Lindor hot streak. He was struggling big time. So you get him going. Mets can be a problem. I think that a lot of people have written them off because of last year, and that's kind of tough to do. Like sometimes you just got to turn the page on the year. They look like a playoff team to me. They really do.
Got to do a little DJ Stewart mini section. Yes, he is part of the Orioles first round pick club, 2015, 25th overall pick. He was a Yankees draft pick in 2012. He passed on that to attend Florida State. And do we know what DJ stands for?
Oh.
Doing justice.
David John.
I wish. Demetrius Jerome.
Ooh.
Awesome.
Didn't have that one. Did
Man,
not
I would
have
have.
it.
Baseball Reference lists his age.
Isn't it
as
usually
Scott
like
Boras,
something
so
junior?
A lot of Jays are juniors.
I would have liked to see DJ Stewart ripping it up in Tallahassee, Florida for a couple years. My
Yes.
goodness.
Born in Gainesville.
Trev, I've got a slightly unfair one for you because I think I want to end with a little Brew Crew St. Louis talk. We had 2 4-gamers that both got split. Snakes, Giants, Marlins, Cubs. 4 games like that, when it gets split again, it's kind of tough to, I don't know, it's kind of a push. But I think I want to highlight Jung-Hoo Lee has a real hit streak going, like that for him, as we're figuring out who Jung-Hoo Lee is. Got to 11 games. Did it get to 12? I think so. No. Stops at 11 games, but still, good for him. Patrick Bailey goes 4 for 4 and puts one in the drink on his own bobblehead day. Yeah, we're doing Patrick Bailey bobblehead days in the Bay.
Straight into a kayak.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure. I couldn't tell by the video if the catch was made or if it just landed in the person's lap. It's a 2-person kayak out there on his bobblehead day. Hits one directly into the kayak. What are the chances of that?
If we sell it, will you get in a kayak with me for a day?
100%. I
Okay.
love a kayak.
Okay.
Kayaks
I do
are
too.
awesome, but also terrifying because you're so close to the water.
Right.
I would take them out off the coast here. There's sharks out here. There's
Right.
great whites roaming, and you start to get in these like these little kelp regions and fishing for some calico bass. All of a sudden, you hear a little bump on the bottom of your kayak. You don't like that. They're not exactly the sturdiest vehicles, but I'd get one. I'd get in one with you.
Okay.
Life vest for sure.
The other major thing of note, Snell still off to a tough start. Didn't get the full spring training, but on the other side, he's against Jordan Montgomery, who pitches 6 nice innings in his debut, so he's back. I think that's kind of where I'm at on that series. I don't know if you want to add anything there.
No, it was great to see Montgomery out there. I think that was kind of cool seeing the juxtaposition of Snell and Montgomery. As much as you want to make excuses for Snell, saying, "Hey, like you didn't really have a regular spring training on here," did Montgomery. So, Snell's going to be okay. I think he is a little rusty. I think he is getting back into full on season mode. But it hasn't been pretty for him to start. And it was, again, nice to see Jordan Montgomery out there. And the Snakes, they got some pitching depth, dude. They really, really do. I believe, didn't Merrill Kelly just exit a start? Did he go on the IL?
I think he left early in this one. Did he go IL? I don't think so yet. I hate the IL report. Good to get, let's see, scratch with a sore shoulder. So
Mild strain.
you don't love that for a 35-year-old Merrill Kelly.
But you have pitching depth, which is very nice to have when something like this goes down. Inevitably, it will.
The other 4-gamer I mentioned, Marlins, Cubbies. Again, Jameson Taillon comes back. I think that's important. My other, Nico Horner is so beloved by Cubs fans, and I completely get why. Some of the highlight plays he makes are just, he fights off a pitch that he turns into a double. For Miami, I'm happy for you. Luzardo has a nice start. Jesus Sanchez pissed on a ball to center field. They split 4, which is nice. Marlins, you're 6-17. I know a lot of people didn't have Marlins stock, but again, their season is more or less kaputs without a 10-game win streak, and they haven't given any signs of that. They're about to play the Braves.
Yeah, it's going to be tough for them to come back. I want to give a shout out to my guy, Shota Imanaga, who finally gave up his first earned run of the year, 4 starts in, first home run of the year as well. He's been so fun to watch. And if you're a Cubs fan, obviously you've seen it all year. You saw it in spring training. But he's the steal of the offseason.
Yeah. Yeah, he looks
great, man.
Incredible. Trev, before we do a tightish interleague, Brewers sweep the Cardinals, man. You're hearing it in my voice. I'm feeling conviction about teams that have either had a fully hot start or a fully cold start. Cardinals aren't fully cold. It's 9-13. Getting swept by the Brewers, who are now 14-16. Bryce Terang keeping it going is massive for Milwaukee. What he's been doing. Chiriot feels like he's getting more and more comfortable every day. I guess for me, after I looked at last year, the past couple years of standings, and it sounds a little obvious, but there's some teams that get off to hot starts and fade. Last year's Pittsburgh Pirates were 18-8 at one point. It is really hard to get off to a bad start and turn the ship around. There's not a lot of examples that for St. Louis, it's not panic time. You got a couple more games this month. Arizona, then it's a road trip to the Mets and Tigers who you're battling with. Like, again, it's kind of go time, and I don't know what the Cardinals are leaning on right now. Their offense has been really tough. Like, the light bulb needs to go there. And soon.
I want to highlight, I think this is cool whenever this happens. The Contreras bros playing against each other. That's just like some of the coolest stuff, especially when you're both catchers. So you're getting that shot of them, together at the plate and behind the plate. I think that's really cool. William Contreras doing great this year. Of the Brewers. Wilson slashing 353, 471, 647. He has a 25-game on-base streak. It's the longest active streak in the majors. So this is the stat I wanted to get to, though.
Okay.
Wilson of the Cardinals, 171 weighted runs created plus, trails only Sal Perez and his brother William among catchers. So there's a little bit of a hot start. Who's going to do it for longer thing going on there? Williams has the 184 weighted runs created plus. He leads all Major League Baseball catchers. It's just really fun when you have a family like that because, Wilson comes up. He's, just kind of like a star right away almost. It comes up and has been this force offensively. And then the brother comes up and you always wonder about the brother.
Right.
And William has done a great job with that as well. So we talked about that trade a couple episodes ago, how
my God,
the Brewers absolutely stole that trade. Esteury Ruiz, and you get Joel Payamps and William Contreras.
That's I was trying to relive that more, and I think it was, can William Contreras stay a catcher? And if he can't, then you need to find a position, or is he DHing? And it's like, oh, Brewers, no, we'll just have him be one of the best catchers in the league. No, we're fine with that.
For the Brewers, Jackson Trio has been, a lot of talks about other Jacksons to start the year. He's been awesome. He, in his previous 6 games, was only 3 for 26, but then had a really nice 2 for 3 day with a homer on Saturday. And then Bryce Terang, last 12 games, 302, 362, 512, 3 stolen bases. Like, having those guys contribute offensively is a massive part of why the Brewers are able to get out to this start that they've gotten out to. They look like the real deal. They really do.
Nolan Arenado, 1 home run in his last 48 games. And Blake Perkins robbed Lars Nootbaar in the first inning of this game. Would have been a 3-run homer. There's something to vibes in a season. I don't have to tell Cardinals fans coming off of last year. Don't let those bad vibes creep in. It's kind of go time, St. Louis. Let's see, who do they have coming up? Schedule watch. Oh, I said it. Arizona, Mets, Detroit. Okay, find something.
Nice start, Gibby. Nice start, Gibby.
Gibby, hot.
Still I don't know. Like, I'm still on the fence about Ollie, even though Gibby's told me I need to be a fan of his. He had another kind of interaction with a reporter. The guy asked kind of a weird question, and he has no time for that. It seems like Ollie Marmol does not want to talk to the media. He's got no time for your stupid questions. I wish he was a little nicer. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
That's all he's saying, people. Let's do some Interleague quick. I had people telling me, would this be a good World Series matchup? The Texas Rangers and the Atlanta Braves. You're talking about complete lineups. Hello. Braves, Travis d'Arnaud, their backup catcher. How's your 3-homer day? Meanwhile, Chris Sale goes 7 innings, 3 earned runs to win that first game. Travis d'Arnaud again the next day with a home run. My goodness. And Charlie Morton salts him away with 6 innings of his own. Texas takes the final game. Michael Lorenzen again doing enough on the bump. Quality start. Adolis, Evan Carter, Andrew Knizer. It's a great week to be a backup catcher in this series. Braves, they take 2 out of 3. The Blue Jays, they're starting to win some series, baby. They take 2 out of 3 from the Padres. Going for the sweep. Bassett, Musgrove, put it into my veins. Xander Bogaerts, he had some other ideas. He hits the homer. Musgrove, 7 innings pitch. But these Blue Jays, Yariel Rodriguez with a solid outing. Dalton Varsho's been kind of going nutty on them. Your guy, Jose Berrios. Blue Jays starting to rack up some wins. And it's an AL East program, Trev, because the Boston Red Sox, they can't stop, baby. They sweep the Pittsburgh Pirates at PNC. Your guy, Brian Bayo, shuts them down the first game. Wally Abreu, 3-hit games in this series. And you mentioned Akata Crawford. They're really good. I think he's really good. 6 innings, 1 earned run. They bust out the broomsticks, and they're loving that road life. Unfortunately for the Angels, they are not, as the Cincinnati Reds bounce back after getting swept. They do the sweeping. Nick Lodolo, 6.1, 1 earned run. That's significant. Frankie Montas gets knocked out, hit by a comebacker, only 0.2 innings, but they piece it together, and a huge Christian Encarnacion strand. 2-strike, double in the gap. Reds win 3-0. They sweep them. The Angels to bounce back. Trev, Houston, you're hearing everything I'm saying about the standings. Nationals take 2 out of 3. Justin Verlander comes back. 6 innings, 2 earned runs. Looks like Justin Verlander. The next 2 games, Trevor Williams, friend of the program, shuts him down. And then young Mitchell Parker, 7 innings shutout. A little bit of a funky delivery on him. Luis Garcia with the 3-hit day. CJ Abrams in that middle game. Nats are playing a fun brand of baseball. They knocked around Hunter Brown in that first inning. Astros drop another set. Mariners, are they getting it going? 2 out of 3 from Colorado. They take the bread games. One of those is on doubleheader day. Rockies thought they had the walk-off home run. Jacob Stallings, fan interference called back. They get the ship right in that game. Otherwise, the Mariners blew them out in games 1 and 2. Luis Castillo and Emerson Hancock. So you can pitch at Coors Field. You just need the pitchers. Chicago White Sox, they get swept by the Phillies, and that's a little obvious. Zach Wheeler with a monster start. Aaron Nola with a monster start. And you basically know all the players on Phillies offense because they wear swaggy outfits. Trey Turner and the John Boy Media pregame fit leads to a 3-hit day. And yeah, there's Schwarber, there's Bohm. You already know. That's what happened in the Interleague Baseball.
Say Spencer Turnbull's name, will you?
7 innings, 1 hit, 0 earned runs. Spencer Turnbull.
He's got 4 of those bad boys. 4 starts, the 1-2-3 ERA.
What did he sign for?
1 year, $2 million.
Stop.
I think he was.
I mean, he was supposed to be the guy with the Tigers. Phillies found a way.
I love Dombrowski. I fully flipped.
That's not a typical Dombrowski sign, though. He's more of like, let's give some guys some money, some big dogs. This is like an under the radar.
Dude, I was really
David Stearns-esque.
Obviously, he's got the big dogs, but he's got some trade transactions. He's got some draft picks. Like, me and him kind of had a tall, small rivalry going. I'm all in. He's my guy, and I'm his muse.
That for you.
They get 2 out of 3 from the Rocks. Some crazy weather in Colorado, crazy play out there.
Imagine facing Luis Castillo when it's snowing. That doesn't sound fun.
Rather not.
Well, hasn't even been great or he's been bad to start the year, but I guess a nice snowy start in Colorado is all he needed. Who would have thought?
Luis Castillo in the snow. Trev, the heavyweight matchup, before we get to a couple topics, Braves-Rangers, we get a little Sunday night on it. I'm going to talk a little bit Travie d'Arnaud in a little bit. But two of the premier teams in baseball.
I was just about to talk about Travis d'Arnaud and what he did to Heen Dog, but I guess I'll leave it to you. I mean, yeah, this is badass lineup versus badass lineup. Braves win this round, but I really do feel like these games could go either way. You know, pitch here, pitch there. I loved seeing Chris Sale out there going 7 strong. That's been a huge signing for the Braves. You talk about executives, AA down there with the Braves, he knows what he's doing. And obviously with the injury to Strider, that pitching depth is something they're going to have to figure out. But Sale has been a huge part of that. He's still How old is Chris Sale? 35?
I would guess 35.
He looks really, really good. Like he looks like he's got multiple years left in him.
35.
I think we looked that up like not too long ago.
March 30th birthday.
Seems older than that, if we're being honest, but not the way he's throwing right now. I could see this guy continuing to be down there doing that for a couple more years. And I don't know if I would have said that a few years ago.
They paid him to do that. They paid him to do that. Man, Kirby Yates, gross at the end. That could be important for where the Rangers get their season going. Let's see. Let's knock off a little AL East, Trev. Red Sox and Jays. How are you feeling about both those teams? I kind of asked the Jays to start winning series. They do it against the Yanks. Now the Padres. The Boston Red Sox got off to that great road trip to start the season. Horrible homestand. And now they're crushing it on the road again. Has your perspective changed on either of these teams?
I mean, yeah, I think the Red Sox to me.
Yeah.
Obviously, coming into the year, we questioned the pitching, and that's been the best pitching staff in the big leagues. You bring in Andrew Bailey to figure things out, but you don't expect it to turn around this quickly, and it looks like it's sustainable as well. I think that was a question mark I had early on in the season. You see a few, like maybe 1 or 2 turns through the rotation. Okay, nice couple starts to the year. But the way these guys have thrown the ball, like they're going to be in it because of that. Like they're going to be in games, so they're going to have chances to win games. That's Jake Lytics right there.
Yeah.
Like Cutter Crawford, his start to the year has been absolutely disgusting. Bayo with an excellent start here, and then you get the opener in the 3rd game. But you're going to, like I said, be in games. The offense now doesn't have as much pressure on it, so you're able to kind of win games in different ways, whether that's defensively, whether that's just, a clutch hit here and there. You don't have to go out there and try to make up for a pitching staff that struggles, which is basically what they had to do last year. I'm kind of in on the Red Sox, man. I believe there's room to grow offensively, and I believe they'll be, if they're in contention the way they are right now, I believe they'll be buyers at the deadline. So this is a team that I'm definitely looking at to be give us a playoff run, and it's been all because of the pitching, man. It's been absolutely nasty. We talk about the starters a lot, but the bullpen's been just as good.
And I think my guy Tyler O'Neill is getting activated tomorrow. But Trev, if I told you the Red Sox were off to a hot start, you'd probably think, maybe Lucas Giolito, Nick Pivetta, Whitlock, Tyler O'Neill, Trevor Story, Casas, Vaughn Grisham would be doing big things for them. Casas he just got hurt, but all those guys are on the IL, man.
Yeah.
So
I'm saying there's room to improve offensively for this team.
If they can keep treading water and pitching like they're doing, you're right, man. They're going to be a part of this season, which maybe people think is dumb, a lie, or obnoxious, but baseball's better when the Red Sox are in the mix.
I know Yoshida had a pretty good series. Is it go time for him? Like, what are we thinking overall for a guy like Yoshida? 700 OPS right now. He had a brilliant start to his career and then really tapered off. What are you feeling? I mean, last year, 783 total OPS, 109 OPS plus, 700 OPS, 100 OPS plus on the dot right now. Are we seeing a guy that's still getting acclimated to the big leagues, or are we seeing this is what he's going to be, like a 750, 760 OPS guy?
I think it's too early to say that. I think, he's got 100 OPS plus. Like it's a fine start to the season. It's not good, it's not bad. That if he goes out, like if he has a big series, his numbers on the year will look good. So I'm fine on Yoshida for now. I'm interested to see how it develops. And yeah, just thinking of Seiya Suzuki, another guy that came over, his numbers year over year ticked up. So I do want to see that from Yoshida after playing a full year of Major League Baseball.
874 in the first half last year, 663 in the second half. I'm curious if that was something he had focused on in the offseason, trying to make sure his body's ready for the 162 and not have that letdown in the second half. Because if he gets going, that's obviously a big uptick to that Red Sox offense.
And
have they played the Yanks yet? I don't think they have.
No, they have not. And for my Blue Jays, for me, I really fell in love with their pitching before the year, and then I got nervous about that because they weren't pitching so hot. But getting Romano back on the back end, and dude, their start, Barrios has been awesome. Bassett,
unreal.
And Kikuchi has been standout. That now Yariel has joined the crew. Gossman wasn't off to a good start. Again, my Luis Ariz team. So just put that in your pipe.
To go there.
Yeah. It's what they're missing.
Okay.
I really like their pitching. And that's, they held the Padres to 3 runs in the first 2 games, and that's how they did it. And Varsho's been going. It'd be very, very interesting year for him. Can he be a plus player offensively? Because with his with his defense, he can be a plus player no matter what. But man, if he can bring it on the other side, and he has been recently,
he's had a bunch of homers lately. +6 outs above average, which leads all players in the big leagues. He's going out and getting it out there in the outfield.
Reds, I hope Reds Mania starts picking up again. They sweep the Angels and 0-0 in that final game, and they busted open. Encarnacion Strand, fun at bat to stay in it. And it's where Ellie De La Cruz, it feels like, is fully on, like game on, like let's see this. 3 stolen bases in that first game, along with a home run and a couple hits, 2 hits in the final game. That's massive to me. Still not sure where I stand on the Angels. The other sweep that's remaining, Philly swept the White Sox. That, again, we kind of hit that off the rip with some Turnbull and some love there.
Ellie De La Cruz, 412, 639 for the 1 dot. He already has 10 stolen bases, Poppy. It's April 22nd.
It's happening, man. It's happening.
Like, easy 30-30 for him. He's got 6 homers already too in Cincinnati. I know. I mean, it's a decent pace to keep up for the homers for him, but the stolen bases are obviously going to be there. They might have multiple 30-30 guys on that team, which is awesome.
Lodolo pitching well is huge for them, and their offense hasn't fully clicked yet, and I do think it's coming. Tough little schedule coming up. Whoo! Philly, Texas, San Diego. Texas and San Diego on the road. Okay, Reds, 12-9. Keep treading. Trev, I do think the big final topic in this series. Sorry, Mariners fans, you did enough. You did enough against the Rockies. You took 2 out of 3. Happy for you.
Let's talk about the missed walk-off. Did you see
that?
Yeah,
yeah. We talked about it on Weekly Dumb.
It was a homer. He wasn't going to catch that. Like, his glove wasn't in the right position to catch it. And I don't think he really got held down by the fan. Now, did the fan interfere? Sure. His glove was out over the railing. If anything, let him stay on second base, but you're going to call him out?
We, again, little ad for the Weekly Dumb. We slowed it down a little bit. he had a chance to catch it. The rule book says that the fielder is supposed to be likely to catch it. It's tough to say he's likely to catch that.
He was just under it. I don't think he got up high enough there with the glove.
I know. It's tough. I don't know the solution because you want fans near that. We want home runs being robbed. Should each stadium have a little moat, kind of like, Philly's got that going on a little bit. I feel like the new Texas stadium that players can still rob homers, but fans can't interfere. I don't know.
I think that I like that solution. Obviously, it's difficult to do that in all the ballparks. Go retrofit each stadium with a little gap between the stands and the fence, because I don't like when fences are too high where you can't rob.
Yeah.
Obviously, Fenway, keep your monster, great, but
that's good.
That's like one of the more exciting plays in baseball. I want to see, players with at least a chance to do that. But fans interfering, no big deal, or no good, excuse me. This one, I thought at the very least, Starling should have been on second base instead of called out. That's crazy. Like, can you imagine if you're him?
Yeah,
like, I'm out. I just hit a homer, and now I'm out.
It's luckily the Rockies won that game. Otherwise, I think people would be a little louder.
That's true.
But yeah, tough for Jacob Starling. I mean, I don't know, have a walk-off under your belt. Like, that's pretty sick.
So that's a nice highlight to have in your career. Instead, you're just walking back to the dugout with your hands
low light out. Trev, I think the final thing I want to hit, because I'm pressing the button a little bit. I think everyone's scared too.
Is that the panic button?
Houston, a little bit, man. Like, I did this last week. It's no joke, man. It's not, the Dodgers last year came out of the gate and they were kind of 500. And then they figured it off and they do Dodgers things. And I think they're kind of doing that again this year. Houston has dug an actual hole, man. Like, I realize no one's gone in the division yet. Rangers are 12-11. Mariners are 11-11. If there's ever a team that deserves every final, I won't be the one to say the Astros are dead, because the second you say that, I think we're all like, oh, here they come. 7-16.
Here's why I won't declare them dead, Jake. I will not do it. I know there's been some low spots offensively. Jose Abreu, they need to figure that whole thing out, whether that's giving Singleton some more run over there or something like that. I don't know. But they're still fifth in all of baseball in OPS. The offense is still, I think, going to be there at the end. It's just the injuries to the Steph. How are you supposed to sustain that? On the IL right now, we have Luis Garcia, Christian Javier, Lance McCullers Jr., Jose Urquidy, and Framber Valdez. Like, how are you supposed to sustain that? Any other team, we'd be like, oh, well, I mean, look how much they're injured. We don't say that about the Astros because we just expect so much out of them. And they have had Ronel Blanco, step up. And if it wasn't for him, it'd be way worse. Right. I believe they've won all of his starts. And now you get Verlander back. So the injuries to the pitching staff, if they come back and they tread water, they keep it, a couple, maybe 5-6 games under 500. There's no reason why this team can't soar back in the second half. We got to see those guys come back. And then obviously the bullpen has been a massive issue, in the big three, if you will, have not performed well, but I expect that to turn around too. So I get what you're saying. And there are some statistics and some past history to point to where, they have a lot to overcome, but I think they've just been without a lot. Do you expect the guys that back end of the bullpen to be as bad as they've been all year? There's just no way. Now, I guess my question is, and I don't know, Astros fans, tell me if there's some sort of weird vibe there that I don't know about. Like, is the Presley thing, Presley hater, like, drama? Is it drama? You have a guy that's been one of the best relievers in freaking franchise history, and all of a sudden you say, hey, we're bringing somebody else in. Now you got the 8th and he's got the 9th. Like, does that cause something? I mean, mentally, I think it might to me. I know he said all the right things, Presley, at the beginning of the season, but like, if your job has completely changed and now you feel like you're not the guy, like, has that affected him? And I think there's a lot I think there's like a wave coming, an Astros wave coming. So I'm not ready to declare them dead. I think we're going to be sitting here like in August being like, shit,
Right.
The Astros are now 10 games above 500. And do you remember that poor start to the year? I think that's where we'll be. I'm more on that side than hitting the panic button and saying they're done.
I think that's what I want to get across. I'm hitting like a panic button has to happen because we did this with the Cardinals last year, man. Like, they're St. Louis. They're a great team. The Cardinals, they always find a way. Houston has a lot more pedigree. The 7 straight CSs and everyone on this team. I just know last year with St. Louis, there was a weird vibe of like, wait, what are we doing wrong? Houston, it's obviously the pitching right now. JV just came back. They're hitting a lot, which, again, I can spin that as a good thing or a bad thing, man. Like, imagine if the hitting slows down. And every time St. Louis tried to get momentum going last year, it got knocked out by a bad bullpen game or something like that. They've got the Cubs, 2 games against the Rockies, and then Cleveland, and then I think Seattle and the Yankees. So I don't know. At some point, you got to start racking up wins or at least stop losing. And I don't know.
7-16 right now. I'm going to say this, and we'll maybe put a wager on it or something like that. End of June, 500 for me.
Okay. Hey, everyone knows I placed a bet on the Cardinals figuring it out. It didn't work out last year. Cardinals were 10-17 at one point. The Astros would have to go 3-1 to get to 10-17. Like, I don't know, man. Like, I just think we've been doing the, like, it's early, they're Houston. Yeah, actually,
sure.
Like, it's legit go time.
If they had all of their guys in that rotation and it was like this, then I would say let's hit the panic button a little more. I think it's just the injuries to me. How can any team withstand that and tread water? I don't know if they can. I guess the Guardians are doing that right now, a little bit.
I don't know.
Bad vibes? I don't know. Chris Rose sent me a clip of, Alex Bregman after the game, and the vibes were kind of low there. The swag hasn't come back, and it's hard to have that when you're 7-16. I get it. So maybe they just got to artificially create that somehow.
No Dusty. I'm not saying.
The swag king is there. He's missing.
Literally the swag. Literally the swag king. Dusty
the
Baker.
king of swag.
Invented Renel Cambio Blanco.
Invented high five. That's the king of swag. Trev, let's move on to standout performances. Standout performances are brought to you by Mova Globes. Trev, you've got a Mova Globe behind you. I've got a Mova Globe in front of me for my Yanks. Maybe you like that. Or, Trev, look at the Boston Red Sox.
Oh.
Keep your friends close and your enemies closer. Mova Globes. They're rotating globes. They got your favorite team on them. What do they got? There's no cords or anything. Put it wherever you want. It spins via the light. Don't ask me that technology.
We don't know. Magnets and light, people.
Do not ask me that technology. Dodgers, Cubs, Giants, Astros, Red Sox, Yankees, Braves, Phils, Mets. All 30 teams are going to be available next month. Most of them are there now. They're perfect for the desk, for home, wherever you want it. And how about 10% off? Talk B10. That's code TALKB10. Go order your globes now. MLB Mova Globes. There's a link in the description. And yeah, perfect for any man cave, for anything.
Not trying to be funny, not trying to get a laugh. I get lost looking at and playing with the
It's
Mova
nice.
Globes pretty often around here.
It's fun.
The Yankee one especially spends a lot of time in this studio. And I just start looking at it and playing with it.
It reminds me of middle school snow days.
Yep.
Who's your standout performance, Trev?
On a big 420, our guy Steven Kwan of the Cleveland Guardians went 4 for 5, 2 doubles, 2 runs, and a stolen base. All Steven is doing this year is leading the AL in runs, hits, and batting average. 358, 378, 474 for the 151 OPS plus. He's been a spark plug for this team. The slug is up this year. They're such a fun team to watch, finding different ways to win. And Stephen Kwan has just been one of those players that ever since he debuted in 2022, like he's just come and hit the ball, bro. Like he's had no problem. This guy's still very, very young, 26 years old. I don't know, man. There's just something about him when I watch him play. One of those guys. I want 9 Stephen Kwans on my roster. We'll get the job done. We'll hit and run. We'll move runners over. We'll pop one over the fence every once in a while. But on that 420, that national holiday, 4 for 5, 358 batting average. I mean, it's exactly what you want at the top of the lineup. So snaps for Kwani.
Great two-way player, and if he's going to give them that on offense, it's how Cleveland can put together a 90-win team this year. One WAR
2 Gold Gloves already. First 2 years in the league, too.
1 WAR on the season, 358, 851 OPS. Hit that Kwan, baby. Trev, I'm going with 3 home run specialists. Travis d'Arnaud, backup catcher for the Braves. Just the baseball life of Travis d'Arnaud is a funny one. I mean, huge prospect, called up for the Mets. He was part of the Roy Holliday trade. He was part of the R.A. Dickey trade. Big expectations, and it never felt like it fully clicked with the Mets. A couple nice kind of half season. He put together a nice run for Tampa and then the Braves, and then he just becomes the backup as he's gotten older to Sean Murphy, one of the best catchers in baseball. Murphy goes down. d'Arnaud, you're in. 3-homer day. He homers the next day too. So 4 homers in 2 games. Trev, there's a lot of backup catchers this year that might not have 4-homer seasons. And d'Arnaud has just been plug and play. And this isn't his first 3-homer game. He did it against my Yanks. So, this fucking guy.
Yeah, I never really consider him a backup anything. He's just he's one of those guys that's whether it's DH or he's behind the dish. I mean, he's just a big part of this team, and to have him, be a guy that you can just kind of hide at the bottom of the order or put him right in the middle of it, doesn't really matter. He's going to do it. I love the swings. It was, I believe, his first one against Heaney was a 3-2 fastball, tried to get him inside. I don't know if he changed a lot. It looks a little different to me in the box right now for d'Arnaud. He looks like a little more upright, leans back, turns on that first one, and then smart. He's a catcher. Next at bat, first pitch off speed. He's like, hey, throw me that fastball again. First pitch curveball, homer. I love that when guys kind of understand that, make adjustments, and are able to do it. He's an absolute stud, man. And you know what? I want to shout out the d'Arnaud brothers. They built a facility out here in Long Beach. I believe it's in Long Beach, somewhere down there, down south of LA. And they're getting kids in there, improving the game, growing the game of baseball. And you can tell he put a bunch of work in there in the offseason because he looks really good in the early going.
Love it. d'Arnaud Bros shout out early.
I love the bros, man. I wish my brother played in the big leagues with me. We got to play blitzball together, though.
Yeah, sure did. Trev, as always, guys get snubbed. Your guy, Wensiel Perez from Detroit.
Obviously.
His big day doesn't get. Harrison Bader put up a big one at the office. Blaze, actually, I think you're going to hear about him in a minute. Julio 4-hit day. Mark me down for that. We mentioned a lot of the pitchers. Webb, Bayo.
I almost went MJ Melendez again.
Why
He's
not?
been doing it.
Why not?
Yeah.
But Trev, there's one place that every player around Major League Baseball wants to end up.
Dirt nasties on Fuego. That means I'm on fire, baby. Like Waco.
Sorry.
Well, this first one we just talked about. For the series, Travis d'Arnaud, he went 4 for 6, had 4 homers, hit one the next night after the 3-homer night, 8 ribbies. Second of his career, like you said, the first AL catcher since Dale Murphy to hit 3 homers in one game. First Atlanta catcher, excuse me, since Dale Murphy. Like that. Wilyer Abreu for the Boston Red Sox. By the way, this guy's made some incredible catches out there in right field. I like him as a player. 7 for 12 in the series, 2 doubles, a homer, 4 runs driven in, 3 walks for the 1.667 OPS on the series. Then my guy, Alec Boehm, like I mentioned, looked really good in the City Connect. 6 for 12, a double, 2 homers, 7 ribbies in that series. Way to go, Alec. Love you. For the week, you just mentioned him. Blaze Alexander, shortstop for the Arizona Diamondbacks. He went 7 for 18, 4 doubles, a homer. He had 9 runs driven in. That led Major League Baseball for the week. And how about Mitchell Parker? We talked about him when he made his first start against the Dodgers, and then did it again against Houston. That's a nice start to your career. 2 games, 2-0, 12 innings pitched, 7 hits, 2 earned runs, 12 Ks to no walks. You know that gets my juices flowing. Went 7 innings pitched against Houston on Sunday, only threw 73 pitches. You love that. Love that. Good job, Nationals fans. You got some CJ Abrams. We didn't even talk about. Is he on here?
I don't think he's on this list,
he's
but
been
he's just
doing
been
this year?
balling out. Yeah.
Holy shnikey. How about Cleveland reliever Tim Herron? Of course.
Oh,
4 games pitched in the week, 4 2/3 innings pitched, only 1 hit. He struck out 7 people, no earned runs.
he's a moose. He
With
is
a
a moose.
.43 whip. Tim Herron, moose-like,
Yeah.
Jake says. 2 weeks. This is the one everybody wants to be on. Sonny Gray. Hopping back into the swing of things. 3 games started. He goes 2-1. He throws 17 1/3 innings pitched in those 3 games. 2 earned runs, 23 Ks to 1 walk. Sonny. And that turns me on. When I look at numbers like that, you're talking 23 Ks to 1 walk over 17 1/3. Fire me up. Be the savior in St. Louis. And we talked about this guy a lot. He's been on this list all year long.
Yeah.
Cutter Crawford. Are you kidding me? 3 games started in the 2 weeks. 16 2/3 innings pitched. Only 1 earned run. 18 Ks for the .54 ERA. He owns the best ERA mark by a Red Sox starting pitcher, which is .66. Since Roger Clemens produced a .66 ERA, they're his first 5 starts in that 1991 season. I think that's someone you'd want to be compared to if you're a Red Sox pitcher. Very nice. And then finally, ending our In Fuego session, how about Texas reliever Kirby Yates, Jake?
Yeah.
He pitched in 6 games, 7 innings pitched, struck out 8, 1 hit, no earnies for the .43 whip. That's what you want to see out of your reliever. And that's who's in Fuego.
Fantastic stuff, Trev. Kirby Yates came in and was gross last night. D-Rob got pulled, and he did the reliever like, damn, I wanted one more. Like, I'm 1 out away from getting out of the inning. And then he kind of did a head turn like, no, I'm actually cool with it. And I was like, wow, that was a quick turn. And then I saw what Kirby Yates did. And yeah, like he made Arcia look awful. You mentioned Cutter Crawford with Roger Clemens. Trev, I know he's tied to some Balco, some of the juice stuff. We moved on pretty quickly from Roger Clemens. Go check out the baseball reference when you get a minute. Top of your guy's head, career WAR. I know WAR's not everything, especially pitchers or whatever, but career WAR.
I think I've seen this. Is he in the hundreds?
A big boy number.
101.
139.
I don't know. I was on it. I was on his page not too long ago.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 times led in ERA. That was from those years range from 1986 to 2005. So,
excuse me?
I mean, the page is covered in bold. He has 7 Cy Youngs, and we've just kind of moved on from Roger.
I mean, there needs to be more talked about when he was with the Astros and just only showed up on days he was pitching.
I want more of that. I've said it a lot.
There's no power play.
Only on the team.
There's not a bigger power play than that.
Oh, road trip.
Am I pitching on it? Oh, I'm not? Okay. I'm going to stay and watch my son play some ball and eat some home-cooked meals. That is, honestly, I almost wish more starting pitchers would do that. Get out of the clubhouse. Nobody needs your freaking throwing the weighted ball in the way. Get out of it. Just go somewhere else. Just be ready to pitch every 5 days. That's all we need you for.
Do you remember when he'd be coming back, they'd air his minor league games?
Yes. And somebody hit a
Was-
homer off him, and that like led Sports Center. A minor leaguer hit a homer off him, and it like led Sports
That
Center.
was
Do you remember
just
that?
a different world. Roger Clemens' minor league game got broadcast and led Sports Center.
And who'd he end up with last year of his career?
Your New York Yankees.
We're all washed up players end
A
up.
44-year-old just hucking the pill.
You know
Is
what
Judge
he got
washed
paid for
up?
that last year?
Is Aaron Judge
Huh?
washed?
Okay.
Relax. You know what Roger got paid that age 44 half season with the Yankees? According to Baseball
not.
Reference listed salary?
10 mil.
17.4.
Sure.
Yes.
Why not? That's in the bank
What
account.
was that? 2024?
Oh, easy with that Judge stuff.
Hey, don't think
okay?
I didn't see your clip. The Rays were spamming Judge with sliders away. It was not fair.
I didn't say it's not
Oh, you didn't say
fair.
it wasn't fair? Oh.
I was on the Rays. They should have kept spamming the slider away. It wasn't even close.
It was a good reference. You said it was like a bad 2000s video game. I like that.
It was. I stopped playing baseball video games.
Like
for a
when
little
you
while.
play like Street Fighter and the guys would just hit all the buttons. Like, stop spamming me. Stop spamming me.
Stop it.
Unfair pitch.
Now that we have gamers in the office, some gamer lingo is becoming more popular. And Jimmy at the warehouse the other day was like, "Yeah, just keep spamming that." And I was like, "Whoa, I didn't."
Whoa.
didn't think-
Jimmy?
Yeah, I didn't think that
Cool guy lingo?
He's been dropping a few spams.
wasn't familiar with your game. Trev, least favorite segment of the show, the IL updates. Kyle Freeland from the Rocks. You remember the slide play from last week. He ends up on the IL. Ryan Nelson for my Snakes. Francisco Alvarez for the Mets. That's a bummer. Chad Green.
Is Freeland on the IL because of that?
Let's double check.
Beebs?
Kyle Freeland. Let me finish it off while Beebs researches. AJ Puck for Miami. He'd been looking gross. Tristan Casas, DL Hall in Milwaukee. Okay, I'm circling that one. Christian Javier for Houston. That's no bueno. And Anthony Rendon, who I know everyone likes to get their Rendon jokes off. He'd actually been balling out. He'd been going nuts a little bit, so a bummer there. And
Yeah, Kyle Freeland did go on the IL. It's an elbow strain. They said that it is unrelated to the home plate collision.
Yeah.
okay,
Okay.
just pitcher
So
stuff.
just throwing too hard.
Returning from the IL, as we start uplifting ourselves. Jamison Tyone for the Cubbies. Patrick Wisdom, your guy, Trev. Let's see. Brent Rooker back for Oakland hitting baseballs. Verlander, we mentioned that. Nathaniel Lowe, tilling the land, dating daughters. He's back at first base for Texas. A couple other relievers around the league who, they're fun to hang out on the team bus, but we'll keep it moving now. Trev.
You don't want to mention Cody Bolton?
Sean Jelly.
Saw some
Oh.
Boltons this weekend in Vegas.
Can we start the week?
Awards!
And awards are brought to you by the Farmer's Dog. Every day, more people and vets are quitting the kibble, kicking the can, and feeding their dogs food that's actually food. Developed with vets, made from fresh and real meat and veggies, portioned for your dog. Big dogs, little dogs. My dog Noodle comes in his own little package. Says Noodle on it, so he knows it's his. There's all sorts of benefits. Healthier coats and skins, better breath, better digestion. Oops. And we're giving you 50% off right now. Thefarmersdog.com/talkin, plus free shipping. Just go to thefarmersdog.com/talkin, get 50% off. There's a link in the description. Your dog's young or old, always the right time to invest in their health with the Farmer's Dog. Click the link. Trev, where are you going?
Okay. Well, my award has kind of changed from about an hour before the show to now, because I've found some new information. But my award is going to be called the Nothing to See Here Award. Okay. Now, magicians like to use sleight of hand. Whenever they're trying to get you to look somewhere, up here, they're probably doing something with the other hand down there. Now, I'm not saying the Orioles did this. I don't think it was just them. Jackson Holliday was a huge topic all throughout the offseason, all throughout spring training. We got a matchup between him and Paul Skeet. Do you remember that matchup in spring training when they didn't even have a real camera to film it and we were just looking at some iPhone footage? What are we doing, baseball? But he was a talk of the town, man, and rightfully so. This guy has absolutely crushed minor league pitching. He's young, he's hot, he's got the lineage. All these things add up. This is the guy we need to be focused on. It wasn't just Jackson Holliday, it was Jackson Churio and now Jackson Merrill. But Jackson was at the center stage. But the Orioles were doing something else with that hand. They were letting a couple guys make the team and ball out. And when everyone was focused on Jackson Holliday, it's been Jordan Westburg and Colton Cowser just absolutely crushing the ball. Now, that was going to be my award. Let's talk about these guys. And I'm going to do that, but then I'm going to get to something else different towards the end. Mm-hmm. Jordan Westburg's leading the AL in OPS at 203. OPS plus, at 203. It's a first-round pick out of 2020 out of Mississippi State. 715 OPS in 2023. One dotting it. 1.031 in 2024. Now, he was a 76 prospect, according to Baseball America, before the 2023 season. So, he was on some people's radars, but it was always about Jackson Holliday. This year, 95th in average exit velo, 99th in hard hit rate. This guy's absolutely doing it. Big change has been how he's hit fastballs. Last year, -5 run value between the sinker and the four seam. This year, he already has a +7 run value against both. It's April 22nd, people. It's a massive change. Now, Colton Cowser, he's second AL in regular OPS with a 1.195, only behind who, Jake?
Who's that?
Juan Soto.
Oh.
First round pick in 2021. He's 5th overall to Sam Houston State. Sure. He had a 433 OPS last year, a 433. And like I mentioned, 1.195 to start the year. This year, he had a -0.9 WAR last year. They said he made some adjustments, moved his hands a little further away from the body. Right now, on Baseball Savant, 90th in hard hit percentage, 95th percentile in barrel percentage. He hit 118 on four seamers last year, Jake. He's hitting 500 against four seamers this year. So Holliday got all the hype, and deservedly so, but these guys have flown under the radar until now. Now teams are game planning for these guys. So I'm very curious to see how the rest of the season goes for them. But right now, it looks like the Orioles have just figured out. And one thing they figured out, Jake, this is kind of where my award's going to go to now. It's the Orioles scouting department. The way they've drafted has been absolutely insane. And I know it helps to have some high draft picks, but I also think there's a little pattern here of what they've been able to do. We're going to go back.
Ooh.
We're going to go back to 2017, where they selected DL Hall with the 21st pick. And okay, DL Hall was good for them in the playoffs last year. We're still on the fence about what he was going to become. You know what he became? Corbin Burns. Okay. Nice start the draft. 2018, who'd they get? Grayson Rodriguez, one of the best pitchers in the big leagues right now. 2019, who'd they get? Adley Rutschman. They had the number 1 overall pick. Didn't miss there. They haven't got swept in a series over 2 games since he's been called up. Do you know who they got with the second pick?
Who'd they get with that second pick, Trev?
Oh, just Gunnar Henderson.
Pretty good draft.
Are you kidding me, people? 2020 was Heston Kjerstad. That was the number 2 pick. And then they had another first round pick, and that was when they got Jordan Westburg. So you're talking about 2019, you get Adley and you get Gunnar Henderson, and then you get Kjerstad, who's sitting in the minor leagues right now, but he's very capable of playing in the big leagues. And then you got Jordan Westburg, who's leading the AL in OPS plus. That's nice. 2021, Colton Cowser out of Sam Houston State, number 5. And then you get Jackson Holliday. And then I'm sure last year, 2023, Enrique Bradfield out of Vanderbilt is going to be an absolute star. But they've hit on every single high draft pick they've had since 2017, bro. That is how you get to the point you're at now. They're going to have to figure out ways to keep all these guys. I don't know if they're going to be able to do it, but you have to give snaps to the scouting department for doing that, because go look at your team's draft record. Go to their first round picks over the last decade and just see how many players are even in the big leagues. You'll be shocked at it. The way they've been able to do it has been nuts. And I kind of figured out what they what they want. They ain't drafting no sissy California boys. They ain't drafting no sissy Florida boys. We're going Oklahoma. We're going Arkansas. We're going Texas. They want them corn-fed Southern boys. And you know what? It seems like the recipe is working. So I don't even know what my award is called anymore. It was the sleight of hand award, but now I think it's like just the congratulations, Orioles, you did it award. I'm telling you, people, drafting, even with high draft picks like they've had, is not easy, and they've just absolutely crushed it. So good job, guys.
Trev, kind of a good award. Again, unnamed, so I'm not going to say great award.
Yeah.
For anyone who's a draft loser, it's NFL draft week. Go look at the 2019 draft. My goodness. MLB. I'm just going to read some names in no chronicle. Well, I guess they are in order, but Adley Rutschman, Bobby Witt, Riley Green, C.J. Abrams, Lodolo, Jung, Langeliers, Manoah, Beatty, Stott, Corbin Carroll, George Kirby, Anthony Volpe. That's all in the first round.
That's in 19?
I think I'm seeing Michael Bush.
Michael Bush, and a lot of these guys, there's another handful that haven't made it to the majors because they're like high schoolers and stuff. And the first pick of that second round, like you mentioned, Gunnar Henderson. It's exactly what you said. It's how you build it up. And I just think it deserves to be said. You were kind of starting with Colton Cowser and Jordan Westberg. These guys were still prospects. It's not like look what we found. Like, no, they first round picks. Cowser was the 5 pick.
Mm-hmm. How much did we hear about those guys?
None. Dude, you want to know the next one I'm living in fear of? I don't know who Kobe Mayo is. I think he's supposed to have crazy power. 21st prospect in baseball right now. Haven't heard a thing about him. I think I heard one scouting report like stupid power. And I just know I'm going to see him in the next year or two. And he's going to be a problem.
Do we need to talk about Holliday a little bit? I mean, he is, I believe, struck out in 50% of plate appearances. I believe only 1 hit so far. Like, how long do you let him do that?
It's a good question.
I'm glad they sheltered him from those lefties at the beginning of the year. That really helped him out.
I don't know, man. Again, for me, I don't care. What the day the Yankees called up Anthony Volpe, they were never sending him back down to the minors. Never. So it would have to get really ugly, I guess. And I don't know, but this is a different organization, and I actually don't like the Yankee way. Like, you can be called up to the majors, and let's celebrate that and give you a fair shot, but being sent down to the minors shouldn't be, like, blasphemy. Like, that should be on the table. So I don't know if he's struggling that bad. I wouldn't be hesitant to. It's not there yet. Like, let baseball run its course a little bit.
I think it's close.
See a third week, but
Kobe Mayo, by the way, 1 dotting at AAA. He's on that Norfolk team that's just killing people. And his career in the minors, 284, 384, and 918 OPS. So that's on deck when they want it. My God.
What's Kjerstad doing? Let's look it up. I got it right here.
Heston Kjerstad.
Oh, he's only 1 dotting it as well. 1.176.
I'll tell you, a lot of minor league pitchers do not like seeing Buck Britton's Norfolk Tides on the schedule.
I love me some Buck.
I know you do.
Britton. How about 10 homers in 21 games for Kjerstad?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Kyle Bradish. Did he throw with them? We'll do some more Orioles another time. Trev, I'm kind of going to the opposite end of the spectrum. That Orioles youth and how delightful it is. I'm giving out the Obi-Wan Kenobi Award. You and I, we both have our sneaky loser sides to us between Star Wars, Lord of the Rings. Sports in general, if we're actually being honest about it, but that's for another time. Obi-Wan Kenobi. We hear it early on, Trev. You know, OG film, number 4th in the movies in order. But help me, Obi-Wan. You're our only hope. Justin Verlander came back for the Astros. He's the game they won against the Nationals. He looked like Justin Verlander, man. That fastball had some paint to it, some ride on the black. With Houston right now, it is the pitching. It's the bullpen. Hader and Presley can't be like that, and they won't. It's just a matter. They need to make sure they time up their good days at the right time right now. Because, again, you don't want St. Louis last year. It felt like whenever they were about to turn something, Gallegos or Helsley or whoever it would have the bad day. Justin Verlander came back. He looked good. Be the guy for Houston, man. Because Javier just went to the IL. They have a full rotation on the IL right now. Framber, Urquidy, McCullers, Javier Garcia. We've seen all those guys pitch playoff games, like World Series games. And right now, they're without them. So I harped on it before. I've hit the panic button a little bit. Like, we've got to go. And Justin Verlander, be the guy for that staff. Help reset the bullpen when you can. Own your day. Start doing that rotation, pass the torch. Hey, I did my 6 today. You need your 6 tomorrow. Because it is go time. And, hey, if there's a guy that can lead your pitching staff, it is Justin Verlander.
Can I add on to what Justin Verlander might help with?
Please.
Obviously, when he takes the mound, he's going to give you a shot to win. We saw that. He did look good. I'm very excited about that. I like Justin Verlander pitching in the big leagues. I just like that.
Sure.
Okay. Who is his, apprentice? Looked up to him, tries to, mimic his wind-up. It's Hunter Brown.
Hunter Brown.
And Hunter Brown just hasn't been it. Not just this year. Just in general, he's had a few good starts, but overall career numbers haven't been good. Seeing JV up close and personal, watching him work every single day. Are we going to see an uptick with Hunter Brown? I'd like to think so. There's something to be said. And look, I know he's still got to go out there and pitch, and there's been problems. And when you get around someone that you really, really respect and, they can help you in your bullpens and you can just talk about, for me, if I'm around a guy who, Josh Willingham was my guy. Right-handed batter, had some pop. We talked about hitting a lot. When I was around him, I felt like I was a better hitter because he got my mind right. Hunter Brown, around Justin Verlander, maybe things are a little bit different this year. Gets around him. They have some discussions about pitch usage, sequencing, whether it's changing up a routine, something like that. Maybe this is the start to the turnaround in Hunter Brown's season. That'd be really nice because they need that. Rotation is thin right now.
They need some pitching and quick. Trevor Plouffe. Excited to see you Wednesday.
Yes.
Great up. Everyone subscribe. Buy 10 shirts.
Listen this long, might as well subscribe.
Go buy the hat Trevor Plouffe is wearing.
You liked it, we did a good job.
Or a mug.
Chick sucks.
About to go see your Athletics, Trev.
Okay.
1 o'clock game at the
Fingerprints.
stadium.
Fingerprints are not all over that team. I don't
We can get them.
Mark
I do.
Kotsay?
Maybe a little bit. Go off my guy Butler. Let's go.
Yeah.